And so, but we also talked last week about maybe you putting together sort of a fund of funds to do something for some of the smallest people.
We can run models, when we manage models. For example, if we have a balanced investor, we have a balanced investor model, for example, which would be, a combination of fixed income and equity investments. And we'll manage that model, say for an account of $75,000, we'll allocate X amount in equities and X amount in the bonds, and we'll use exchange-traded funds. So we almost do have a fund, if you will. It has component parts, not all bundled up in a mutual fund. So you see the investment. So in a way, we already do that. But what you're talking about is actually a private pool, or we were talking about a private pool. And as I was saying, we decided to delay that until market conditions improve and we have sufficient.
Well, look at the market's done in the week since the last week you were here.
Outstanding.
5 days in a row it went up after that. Must have been something to do with what we were talking about.
Well, the government is kind of leads into the issue of currencies for the moment here. We've seen this issue today, for example.
3%, I gather it's gone down, something like that.
$1 trillion injection into capital markets by the Treasury, buying long-term U.S. Treasury bonds to dampen down interest rates and so forth. And of course, the Canadian dollar, the American dollar, snapped down hard today.
No.
Every other currency in the world was up sharply, Canadian dollar included, euro, pound, Swiss franc, with this issue that what's another $1 trillion in terms of new paper.
Yeah.
So this run-up in the U.S. dollar over the fear trade, everybody around the world investing in U.S. dollar treasury bills, has been the investment trade for, say, the last 3 to 4 months. Well, this stock market mess is sort of unwound. But whether today's the day, we won't know until, of course, obviously after the fact. But now we have this. We're finally starting to see money coming out of the U.S. dollar and into other currencies, and of course into markets. Right, as a reliquidify markets around the world, and so from a currency point of view, it's probably not a bad time to review your currency exposure if you're a cross-border person.
And you can keep an account for an American person in Canadian dollars.
Yes, we can. So if you're an American living in the United States anywhere, and you decided you wanted to have, maybe you have ties with Canada, or you have relatives, or perhaps your son or daughter up here, and you're looking forward to doing some estate planning, and you want to have funds in Canadian dollars domiciled in Canada, we can do that.
Did you happen to see the news last night where Amacon Developments has reduced the price of their new building, the Beasley, by $140,000 to $195,000 a unit, and given the money back to the people that had already bought in the pre-sales? And that the reason the president gave was that their construction costs have gone down 30% in the last 5 months?
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Well, that's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, I read in the province here the other day that somebody down in our area, actually Morgan Creek, is the real estate firm is suing for completion on several deals.
There's over 200 people being sued right now to complete on deals that they did pre-sales.
Yeah. So that's kind of a neat thing they're doing there. I mean, it's obviously a real conundrum in the real estate side, but certainly from an American point of view, maybe, from a strategy point of view, maybe, as an American, it's time to get back in Canada.
Well,
just for that reason, whether you want to take advantage of a cheap Canadian dollar, you can buy Canadian dollars at a reasonable price today, whether you're buying real estate or whether you're buying Canadian stock investments, or it may be a very opportune time.
Well, we're back at the point right now with the Canadian dollar down 20% as opposed to a year ago.
That's right.
And the price of a unit just went down 30% last night.
Yeah.
That a place that a year ago would have cost you $600,000 is suddenly only costing you about $280,000 US.
So coupled two sides, that's exactly right. It's interesting that we have a lot of Canadians going across the line to buy cheap American properties, as you know, and for Americans it might be perfect to go the other way.
I've had over 1,500 people attend seminars I've given in the last 4 months, paying $97 a piece to learn how to deal with the taxation of going and buying a place in Phoenix or San Diego or something. I still think the best place to buy right now is Palm Springs, but that's another story. We're going to take a break for a couple of minutes and we'll be right back.